wonderful. I can't wait to see it." Cecile relaxed her shoulders. How long this would last was anyone's guess. From outside came shouts, a couple having a fight, an infant screaming at the top of his lungs, dogs barking. What she wouldn't give for the peace and quiet of the New England farm where she'd grown up. But Nathaniel was a dreamer, and he'd envisioned making his fortune in Memphis by selling automobiles in the booming market and saving enough money to buy his own dealership. The summer heat pressed on her, and she wiped the sweat that trickled across her brow and down her temple. Memphis proved not to be a land flowing with milk and honey, but a wasteland. What he'd earned, they'd lost in the stock market crash just after Millie's birth. She picked up a pair of Millie's frilly white socks and went to return them to the bedroom. An acrid odor, something burning, reached her. She hustled to the kitchen. Millie had pulled her chair to the stove and stood stirring the broth, sloshing much of it onto the hot burner. Cecile grabbed the child. "You aren't supposed to be by the stove." "I help, Mama." Someday the girl would be helpful, but today wasn't that day. "I know you want to help, but you are too little." Cecile stood her in the tiny room's far corner. "You stay there." In no time, Millie joined Cecile in front of the hot oven. "No, you don't go near the stove. Have a drink of water." She reached into the cupboard for a glass. As Cecile's fingers brushed it, Millie tugged on her. The cup slipped from the cabinet and shattered on the floor. "Millicent Mae Dowd, look at what you made me do." With each word, Cecile's voice rose in pitch. Millie opened her mouth and released a wail to rival that of any injured cat. The apartment door swung open. "No, please, no." A visit from Mrs. Ward was the last thing Cecile needed. "Cecile, dear, is everything okay?" Stooped, gray-haired Mrs. Ward from downstairs popped in. Not what Cecile needed, an annoyed neighbor snooping on the disaster area they called home. She pulled her lace-trimmed handkerchief from her pocket and wiped her nose. "I'm sorry. We broke a glass. I'll keep Millie quiet." She lifted the child into her arms and straightened her ruffled dress. Mrs. Ward surveyed the room in a single sweep. "I'm far too old to do much good, but maybe I can help you in some way." Her honey-smooth southern accent washed over Cecile. "No, God told you to work with your own hands. We're fine." The old woman shuffled toward Cecile, her cane tapping the way. She touched Cecile's shoulder, and Cecile fought the urge to weep like Millie. If only Mama were here. If only Mama still loved her and accepted her. "You can't do this by yourself, but I have a solution. Miss Georgia Tann is doing wonderful things at the Tennessee Children's Home Society. She'll take this little darling in and watch her for you until you can manage. And it won't cost you a thing. Just temporary. You know, soon you'll have Millie home and everything back to rights." Cecile squeezed her daughter. I could never give her up. Not in a million years. Even if it meant Cecile didn't eat or sleep, she'd do what she had to do to keep Millie. Didn't Mrs. Ward understand? Millie was all Cecile had left of Nathaniel. The little piece of him she adored and cherished. Millie was everything to her, the very breath in her lungs. "Bless your heart. At least let me get a broom and sweep up this mess." "No!" The word burst from Cecile's lips with more force than she intended. She struggled to lower her voice. "Thank you. I have everything under control." Mrs. Ward patted Cecile's arm, her hand gnarled with arthritis and rough from years of hard work. "Of course you do. But think about what I said." She shuffled away and out the door. "I'm hungry, Mama." Cecile brushed Millie's cheek with the back of her fingers. "Lunch isn't quite ready. As soon as it is, we'll eat." They could do this. They would weather this storm. Hardship was part of life. Once more, she went to the bedroom and sat Millie on the floor. Cecile stopped to straighten the bed's quilt. In seconds, Millie was gone, and great sobbing cries came from the other room. Cecile rushed to her daughter, who stood in the middle of the shattered glass, blood dripping.